Hello, my name is Harsh Sharma. Today I'll be presenting an analysis on two research papers focused on secure processors and enclave design. The first paper is Century, Arming Trust Zones with User Space Enclaves, which was published at NDSS in 2019. The second paper is ZBRAM, Comprehensive and Compatible Software Protection Against Rowhammer Attacks, which was published at Usenix Security in 2018. Background section. To understand these papers, we first need to discuss trusted execution environments. So what is trusted execution environments? A trusted execution environment is a secure area within processor that ensures the confidentiality and integrity of sensitive data and computation. It runs separately from main operating systems to protect critical operations. Trusted execution environments protect code and data from unauthorized access, even from OS or hypervisors. Examples of trusted execution environment include Intel SGX and ARM trust zones. These platforms enable isolated execution environments for security critical applications. Many modern applications, including mobile payments, digital rights management, and secure authentications, rely on trusted execution environment to protect sensitive operations from external threats. Despite their security benefits, trusted execution environments are vulnerable to several threats, like microarchitectural attacks such as Spectre and Meltdown. They exploit the speculative execution and cache side channel to leak sensitive data. TrustZone, while widely used, has a significant limitations. It does not provide user space enclaves, meaning all trusted applications must run in privileged mode, increasing their attack surface. Attackers who compromise the secure kernel can take full control of trust zone environment. Additionally, trust zones design makes it difficult to extend security to user applications without exposing critical system components to potential vulnerabilities. Now, understanding Rowhammer, a DRAM vulnerability. Now let's shift our focus to DRAM vulnerabilities like Rowhammer. Rowhammer is a hardware-based attack that exploits electrical interference in DRAM cells. By repeatedly accessing a memory row, attackers can cause bit flips in adjacent rows, leading to unintended data corruption. This attack can be used to modify system files, escalate privileges, or even bypass critical security defense by manipulating encryption keys or kernel memory. So, what are the existing defenses? Traditional software-based defenses such as error-correcting codes and target row refresh have limited effectiveness because they rely on detecting and correcting bit flips rather than preventing them entirely. Since Rowhammer is a fundamental hardware issue, attackers have continuously adapted to bypass software mitigations requiring more robust security measures. Paper summaries. Now we'll discuss paper 1, that is Century, Arming Trust Zones with User Space Enclaves. This paper was published in NDSS conference in 2019, and its objective is to enhance ARM Trust Zone to support secure user space enclaves. The problem with address is traditional trust zones lacks user security, forcing all secure applications to run in privilege mode, increasing the attack risk. The key idea of this paper: ARM Trust Zone is widely used as trusted execution environment, but its current design restricts the applications to the secure world running at kernel privilege mode, as discussed before. But Century addresses this limitation of ARM Trust Zone by introducing user space enclaves. USEs, that is user space enclaves, ensure strict memory isolation while providing flexibility for developers to build trusted applications without full system privilege. Now let's move on to the mechanism. The mechanism is divided in three main steps. First, security monitor integration. A lightweight security monitor is introduced to manage the transition between normal and secure execution modes. It ensures that enclave processes are protected and prevents unauthorized access from the OS. Second is memory isolation and protection. The enclave's memory is reserved at startup and is completely isolated. Unauthorized access attempts from other processes or even the kernel are blocked at the hardware level only. Third is control execution and secure context switching. Unlike traditional trust zone applications that run in kernel mode, Sanctuary allows user space application to execute securely, improving the modularity and reducing the impact of privilege escalation attacks. Now let's move on to the key results of paper 1. In respect to security improvements, it successfully isolates the user space enclaves from both normal and secure word processes. It also prevents unauthorized access to enclave memory using a hardware enforced isolation. It also effectively mitigates privilege escalation attacks, which is a key vulnerability in previous trust zone implementations. It also reduces the risk of side channel leaks by restricting cache interactions between enclave and non-enclave applications. With respect to performance impact, it introduces only 5% additional performance overhead compared to traditional trust zone. It is also optimized for real-time and embedded system, ensuring feasibility for mobile and IoT applications. It is also benchmarked across multiple workloads, showing that the performance trade-off is minimal while the security benefits are substantial. With respect to deployment feasibility, it is designed to be backward compatible with existing ARM trust zones architectures. It requires only firmware level modifications, avoiding the need of extensive hardware redesign. And it can also be integrated into mobile devices, IoT systems, and cloud computing platforms. Now let's discuss the paper 2, that is ZebRAM, a comprehensive and compatible software protection against Rowhammer attacks. This paper was published in Usenix Security Conference in 2018. Its main objective is a software-based mitigation against Rowhammer attacks. The implementation includes which it divides the memory into zebra stripe zones, separating sensitive data from frequently accessed rows, and it also uses a software managed allocation strategy to prevent bit flips from corrupting critical data. Key idea of ZebRAM. So, as discussed before, Rowhammer attack exploit electrical interference in DRAM to cause bit flips in adjacent memory rows, potentially leading to data corruption or privilege escalation. ZebRAM introduces a software-based mitigation technique that partitions memory into safe and risk zones, preventing the critical data from being affected by Rowhammer induced bit flips. Unlike hardware-based defenses, ZebRAM does not require modifications to DRAM, which makes it highly compatible with existing systems. So how the mechanism works? It's divided in three steps. First is memory partition, which includes zebra striping. The system divides the memory into safe zones, which is for sensitive data, and the risk zone for frequently accessed memory. So by keeping the critical data separate from frequently accessed regions, that is the sensitive data and the frequently accessed data, that is the risk zones, ZebRAM ensures Rowhammer cannot flip the important bits. The second step is memory access control and monitoring. ZebRAM dynamically tracks memory access patterns to detect abnormal row activations. If excessive excessive activations occur in a risk zone, the system can take a preventive measures such as memory remapping or increased refresh rates. Third is performance optimizations. Unlike previous mitigation strategy that introduces excessive overhead, ZebRAM software managed partition ensures minimal performance impact, around 10% overhead. It works without modifying existing DRAM hardware, making it deployment easy across cloud computing servers, and enterprise environments. The key results for this paper. With respect to security improvements, it effectively prevents 99% of row hammer induced bit flips. It also protects sensitive memory regions by enforcing controlled memory access patterns. With respect to performance and compatibility, it introduces less than 10% of performance overhead, making it one of the most efficient row hammer defenses. It also works with DRAM hardware, requiring no hardware modifications. In terms of real world applicability, it can be deployed in cloud computing infrastructures and enterprise security frameworks. Let's discuss the strengths and weakness of this of the papers. The strength of the paper one century is as follows. The user space enclaves is used to enhance security. So it provides hardware enforced isolation at user level, reducing attack vectors in kernel mode execution only. Second strength is backwards compatibility with ARM trust zone. It can be implemented on existing architectures without hardware redesign and minimal performance overhead. It ensures the security without significantly impacting the system performance. The strengths of paper 2 ZBRAM is as follows. First is no hardware modifications required. Unlike DRAM based fixes, ZBRAM is purely software based. So, which is a very significant point actually, because it can be deployed on the system without any hardware modifications requirement. It is very effective. It is very efficient. It's effective against 99% of row hammer attacks, which provides a near complete mitigation of row hammer vulnerabilities and a low performance impact. Only around 10% overhead, unlike the previous mitigations that introduces high latency. So ZBRAM maintains the efficiency. Now let's discuss the weaknesses of the papers. The weakness of paper 1, Century, is as follows. First, it still relies on trust zones root of trust. Any compromise in trust zones affects the Century's security as well. The second flaw in this is it is limited to only ARM-based systems. So it is not applicable to other architectures like x86, which in turn restricts its adaptation. Paper 2, ZBRAM. The first flaw in ZBRAM is software-based approach is not foolproof. It still relies on memory access pattern assumptions, which advanced attackers might bypass. The second flaw in ZBRAM is overhead in managing safe and risk zones. Although optimized, it still introduces some complexity in memory management between risk zones and safe zones. The unaddressed or worsened problems in the papers are as follows. First, in Century, Century does not fully eliminate trust zones dependency on secure kernel, meaning attacks targeting the secure OS may still pose a threat. Second is ZBRAM. ZBRAM primarily focuses on row hammer but does not mitigate other DRAM related attacks such as cold boot attacks or memory remnants vulnerabilities. So the concepts which I was able to understand better by reading these papers is memory isolation in secure execution environment. The concept of isolating the secure execution environment was reinforced in Century, which extends the trust zones with user space enclaves. This builds upon the class discussions which we had on secure memory regions and trusted execution environment implementations manage access control between the normal and secure worlds. So both the papers, they present innovative solutions to critical security challenges. Century strengthens trust zones with user space enclaves, while ZBRAM provides an efficient software-based row hammer defense. These ideas have significant real-world applications, particularly in mobile and cloud security. So some future research in this should focus on extending Century beyond ARM and improving ZBRAM's defense against evolving row hammer attack strategies. Thank you for your time.